Slavery. As we all know, slavery is abolished in the United States of America. But what about kids? What about kids? When you tell the kids, go clean your room, or hey, pick up the yard, cut the lawn, do various other things, and the kids are not paid anything for that. Is that forced labor? Well, it takes us to this week's case. It involves a real family in Michigan. There, the family was headed by a man who was an immigrant from the Caribbean, Jean-Claude. Now, Jean-Claude had a very traditional way of raising his 4 children. Now, he provided for them, he bought them sports equipment, made sure they got to school, and a variety of other things that a responsible parent would do. But he also wanted to make sure that around the house they took care of their various jobs and tasks. And when they didn't do it, when they didn't help wash the dishes or pick up the yard or do various other things that traditionally are done in families, he would, bam, hit them. And he sometimes would use sticks, such as a broom, various other things, sometimes used an ice scraper to hit the kids. Well, pretty soon the kids are showing evidence of this, bruising at school, and the school authorities start to investigate. They find out this is going on, and the kids are removed, the 4 kids are removed from the family. And then Jean-Claude is prosecuted, is charged by a federal prosecutor under the federal law that prevents forced labor, and he goes to trial. On his behalf, he argued, wait a second. What I'm doing is what every parent has a right to do, and that is discipline their children and additionally require that they do household chores. That's done by everybody. That's done by everybody in this country. On the other side of it, federal prosecutors arguing, no, wait a second. In this instance, you are forcing these children who are less than 18 years of age to engage in various kinds of labor, and you're forcing them to do that with actual brutal force, and you're not paying them anything. That is forced labor. That's against the law. Well, the case went forward, and it went all the way up to the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals for the 6th Circuit in Cincinnati. And there, the court had to consider these arguments. Is this in fact forced labor, or is this just something a parent has a right to do? And what the court did is, after giving this a lot of consideration, was said, we don't approve of this manner of raising children. However, if we find that this is forced labor, we will criminalize the majority of American families, because the majority of families are basically telling their kids what to do, and they're not paying them for the work that they do in and about the household. Secondly, they said if it's going to be viewed as child abuse, which in fact it may be, that is something that is up to the states. And there the state of Michigan has to make a decision as to whether or not it wants to bring an action against Jean-Claude for child abuse. Because in the whole area of child abuse, that's left up to the states. Once again, we see a situation in which the federal courts are basically backing away from making a decision under federal law, saying that the decision really lies with the states. That's known, of course, as federalism, because the states, under our federal form of government, have a right to make individual decisions, particularly with regard to individual rights in many instances, such as child rearing, the right to have children, marriage, etc. And therefore, the federal courts said, we're not going to get involved in this. This is really a decision that has to be made by the states. And accordingly, in this instance, we find that the prosecution can't go forward and that Jean-Claude is not guilty of a federal crime. Okay, we bring you this case, as we bring you cases every week, so you understand how the law works. I'm David Allen.